नमस्कार दोस्तों, इंडियाज़ फार्मिंग में आप सभी का स्वागत है। दोस्तों, पर्माकल्चर फार्म के बारे में यूट्यूब में आपने काफ़ी सारा वीडियो देखा होगा, लेकिन ये वीडियो आपके लिए काफ़ी खास होने वाला है। मैं आया हूँ एक पर्माकल्चर फार्म पे। ये काफ़ी पुराना फार्म है और जो पर्माकल्चर फार्म का जो ओनर है उनका दावा है कि ये इंडिया का पहला पर्माकल्चर फार्म है। दोस्तों, आज की दिन में पर्माकल्चर का सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस क्यों है? आखिर क्या होता है ये पर्माकल्चर? पर्माकल्चर अगर कोई करना चाहते हैं तो उनको कौन सी चीज़ की ध्यान देना पड़ेगा? अगर कोई पर्माकल्चर फार्मिंग करते हैं तो उनको कितना मुनाफा हो सकता है, और ये फ्यूचर फार्मिंग क्यों बोलते हैं? तो पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन के लिए आप वीडियो पे बने रहिए और हम लोग अभी फार्म की जो ओनर है उनसे मिलते हैं और उनसे पूरी इन्फॉर्मेशन लेते हैं।
मेरा नाम पद्मा है, पद्मा कुपला है। मैं ये अरण्य पर्माकल्चर फार्म डेवलप करे सो है। मैं नरसन्ना दोनों मिलके करे सो है। ये पूरा पर्माकल्चर का प्रिंसिपल्स के आधारित हुए है। मेरा हिंदी उतना अच्छा न रहता है, मगर वो मैं ट्राई करता हूँ हिंदी में बात करने के लिए। ये फार्म इधर कैसा रहता है बोले तो पर्माकल्चर फार्म हम क्या सीख लिए, हम गुरु से, हमारा गुरु डॉक्टर वेंकट है, उनसे पर्माकल्चर सीख लिए। वो सीखने के बाद ये पर्माकल्चर फार्म डेवलप करे थे। ये 1997 में शुरू करे थे। अभी से जब से अभी तक पूरा ये फार्म कैसा है बोले तो ये 3 प्रिंसिपल्स के आधारित हुई है। ये अर्थ केयर बोले तो भू संरक्षण है, और पीपल केयर बोलते हैं, प्रजल का संरक्षण करते हैं, और फ्यूचर शेयर होता है। आगे जनरेशन्स के लिए संरक्षण भी करना पड़ेगा रिसोर्सेस के बारे में। ये पूरा ये 3 एथिक्स से जुड़ा हुआ से है ये पर्माकल्चर फार्म हम डेवलप करे से। इधर कैसा चलता है, वो फार्मर्स आएगी, वो देश विदेशों का लोगों भी आएगी, आके इधर 13 दिन का पर्माकल्चर डिज़ाइनर्स कोर्स बोल के एक 13 दिन का कोर्स है। ये 72 आवर्स का कोर्स इधर सीख के जाते हैं। एक महीना में ये चलते रहते हैं। ये फार्म कैसा डिज़ाइन करे तो ये 365 days we'll get the fruits out of it, and whatever the seasonal fruits, whatever the seasonal vegetables, and then crops, everything we'll get from this farm. Like this is right now, if you see this farm, we can harvest the crops like chiku we can harvest, jackfruit we can harvest, and then falsa we can harvest, buccinina lanjana we can harvest, papaya is available, and then we have a lemon is there, oranges are there, green mangoes are there. You just name it, all the fruits are available. So in the next season, rainy season, if you come, and then that time like your अलानीर काला जामुन रहता है, और आमला रहता है, कस्टर्ड एप्पल रहता है। कौन सा सीज़न ले लो, बहुत बहुत फ्रूट्स आएगा। ये 365 days में ये this one is 11.5 acres. Out of 11.5 acres is the only 2 acres is the cropland. Rest of them entire thing is the food forest and wild zone. So entire food forest we designed like that, because all the human beings nature is, if you are into, like if something is there to eat, you will take care of, otherwise you are not taking, you are not interacting with that particular element. That is the thing we have to be conscious about that. And then also we have to interact with the plant. If you interact with the plant, if you meet the needs of the trees, and they will meet your needs. So that is the interaction. You take care of me, they will take care of you. So like that, if you see, entire this farm was designed in such a way that we don't need to do anything, but it keep on giving to you something. And it's also dryland food forest. So until 2014 we don't have the water resource, we don't have electricity. 1 year back we got the electricity here. So in 2020, early 2020 we got the electricity. Until then we are in the 2014 we got the solar energy to give the water. So since then we are growing some vegetables and papaya and other things. Earlier entire thing is the dry land. And also, like if you see the multi-layer systems, like this is the tree, you can see mango, and also there is a mulberry, there is a falsa. Like that, if you see entire fruits, there is a different levels of food forest is there. And we see the patterns here. You can see the circles. Wherever you see there are circles. And it's like whatever action we do, it is bringing the biodiversity in it. So different elements will be there. That is like if you have a diversity, like you can manage many things.
Okay.
Sharing of nutrition, pest management, disease management, anything can be done with the diversity.
Okay.
And also it is soil health.
Okay.
So
You are
building
not
the,
doing like ये पुलाव या
we don't cultivate this land, this only 2 acres the crop land we do cultivate, rest of the land we don't cultivate.
no need to cultivate.
We don't cultivate at all. You can see this is the like biomass. Now we can see the biomass. The kind of biomass, it is like it is completely on the floor. So if you want bring this kind of biomass on the, if you want bring this kind of biomass from outside, how much energies you have to put.
Okay.
Because this is a tree can do this kind of, this is I have not brought from outside, this is just self generated. So like that is generations, years and years, if it is fallen, so what happened, your soil building can happen, your soil health will be increased. You can see the bio like energy efficient patterns we follow, like the banana circle. If you see the central part, whatever the banana, after the harvesting of the banana, we just chop it and we put back into the circle. The circle is the energy resource, so we don't need to give the energy from the outside. So here is the biomass, biomass and then manure, creating manure for the plants. So I don't need to bring from outside. It's like in situ practices everywhere. You can see it's all in situ practices. Like if you start thinking about it, like always we talk about the organic food. So what is organic food? Organic food, like this is the jackfruit which I am talking about. Jackfruit, is it required chemical fertilizers? You don't need. So there is a custard apple, there is a jackfruit, there is a blackberry, kala jamun and amla. All these things we don't need any chemical fertilizers. Just they will come up on their own. Even the small berries like falsa and then Singapore cherry, these fruits, they don't need anything. Even mango is also, it's a dryland species. Maybe if you don't give the nutrition organically, it may give the little size of the mangoes. And also if you see the local mangoes, like entire this farm, if you see, a 40% of the seedlings are there, 60% grafting are there. So the grafted trees, like if you see the size of the mangoes, the grafted ones in the bigger in size, the local ones smaller in size, but number is so big. So always we follow that, like it's like a local seedlings. If you see, each plant is a different taste and different flavor and different size. But if you see the grafted ones, if you want one variety, particular variety, you can go for it also. So like we need to have a combination of local germplasm and also grafted ones combination. It will be good for the next generations, because once we lost the local seedlings, the germplasm, we never get back. At least we have to save for the future generations. There are some of the best species are there. We have to save them. At the same time, taking the jack, like if you want to plant a jack, best eat the a fruit of the seedling, and if you like the taste of it, just you plant it. So when they are fresh, put it in any of the container, any of the plastic cover or any of the milk packet, just plant it, then you transplant it wherever you want. It's like very simple things which we have forgotten, we need to bring back. This is a simple technique, everyone has to learn these things, plant some things, because now the climate emergency is emerging every day. So this kind of forest farming is required, and also food forest need to be established. Now present scenario, if you see the COVID and other things, like this farm to provide the nutritious food for a person, like this week we got harvested chiku, we got harvested, and then raw mango we harvested, falsa harvested, Singapore cherry harvested, mulberry fruits harvested, and then jack was harvested, And these all these fruits, like the nutrition, where it comes from, not from the one fruit. If you start eating everything, then your diversified nutrition, your nutrition elements for your body will come. Then you will become, your immunity will bring, a healthy person can be brought up. The people will say about the water is a problem. Like if you want to, if you have a passion to grow something for your own consumption, just use the bathroom water also. Like if you take the shower water can go into the 1 or 2 plants. This lemon has grown with the grey water management, because the shower was taken in the bathrooms, the water will come to the lemon and this entire circle. You can see the banana circle, because this is the dry land, we cannot give the water for the bananas. That's why the grey water management, 1 or 2 plants we planted, lemon we planted. This because little bit water intensive, the water which we used, that is like waste, but this is the food for them. So that's why we have to, permaculture principles always it says reuse, recycle, reduce. So that is one of the principle. Whatever the action which you do, don't produce the waste, and you start doing the reuse and recycle and reduce, and then these things will help you to grow something. We don't need to, plant doesn't require only fresh water. Even whatever the dish was, every day in a family we spent lot of water, around a bucket, 2 buckets of water we use for the dish cleaning. The same water can go to the any 2-3 plants. Try to grow as much as possible, because whatever we are consuming, it our responsibility is to grow something to the planet Earth, because we are taking oxygen, you are not giving anything, you are using water, you are not giving back anything. This is where our contribution, we need to do something about it, because always we are taking, we have to give back to the mother earth. That's where our role. Because so if we want to keep our future generations sustained in better management, we have to do the small interventions. Don't talk about the bigger interventions a small person cannot do. No, a person can do many things with the in day to day life. If you have a even 100 square meters, 1000 square meters, whatever the square meters you have, try to plant something on it. A 10% of the food if you can able to grow, so there is a so much of carbon footprint we can reduce. Like in this farm we have a chiku varieties of 3-4 varieties. One is that cricket ball, it's like a ball, the big size of the ball, and pala sapota we have, and kalapatti. These 3 varieties we have. But chiku is such a thing, it doesn't require any water, and whatever the drought conditions are there, it will come up. So let's try to plant, a family requires a 3 to 4 plants. It's like more than enough. This year I got around 200 kilos of chiku in this farm. So our what we did was, like always we think about the fresh fruits. We can also dry them, we can also consume them well. So I this year what I did, dehydrated around 50 to 60 kilos of chiku for the next months. Because once the fruit comes, like production is not a problem. Once you produce the food, how you can consume, how you can preserve and consume for the next, until the next season comes. That's where we have to play a major role in production systems. So in the traditional way, all our elder people, they used to preserve the food in the dry farms, like tomato, brinjal, all other things like dry farm, they dehydrated and keep it, and we call it vorgu. So that will be used on seasonal days, because that time only in seasonal days only you will get the food. So nowadays in because of the globalization, from every corner of the country you can get the food. Now always we feel that the local food consumption is the healthiest food, because it doesn't require so much of mileage, so much of transportation. Whatever the food which you are growing, so better consume and then preserve and then consume. So that's where we have to follow some of the catch and store the energy. That's what one of the principal permaculture talks about. So when the energy comes, like for example when the food comes, start preserving it and then use for the until the next year. Like always we think about, when I am working with the farmers will say about, without chemical fertilizers we cannot produce any food. So this is like I'm doing since 25 years of this farm. I never use any of a spoon of chemical fertilizer, a spoon of chemical pesticide on the top. You can see the production which we are getting out of it. Like I have not used anything except whatever the biomass is there, I am putting back to the tree. And then if there is a cow manure is available, just cow or buffalo manure, whatever the manure, just give it to them. So like, because once a tree, just you can compare with the human being, a tree is giving so much of food, you have to give some nutrition to the food also. The nutrition what we can give, only thing is don't burn the leaves, whatever the carbon is there, just put it in the carbon. Like you can see the trenches, whatever the trees are there, I am not burning or burying, I am burying the organic carbon. Whatever the trees branches, it will come, you can see them. So I'll bury it, and then once it is decomposed, I'll put back to the fruit plants. That's our simple thing. So we are making so complicated to grow the food. No, it's a very simple thing. So everybody should understand, start doing something, start practicing. Only thing is add the organic carbon, add the carbon. What is the carbon? Is any of the leaf residue, carbon tree residue. Like a biomass plantation there, without water they'll just come up like that. Just cut it and put back to the soil. All these fruit plants, one what I did was one Gliricidia plant and one fruit tree I planted, and chopping of the Gliricidia, putting as a mulching to the tree. That's all. I have not brought anything from outside. So over the years, soil building will takes place. You don't need to add more and more things. Only thing is add the organic carbon. Just these ones are the mango ginger. And then turmeric. These things we harvested from this farm. I think this around quarter acre of the like 1000 square yards. In this 1000 square yards, since last 4 years, we have not cultivated anything. Here cultivated means it's like a, once we establish and then left it like that, and then papaya we have not planted single plant on this farm. So everything is just like automatically plant coming up, and they are giving fruits, and we don't want disturb. But underneath of this we harvested the turmeric, and then mango ginger, and then ginger, normal ginger. So underneath it has come up like without cultivation, without doing anything, we planted this like just we have not cultivated, we make a hole and we planted the turmeric. It has come up very well. You have seen the harvest of that. So within the quarter acre, we got the mango ginger, we got the turmeric, we got the ginger, we got the moringa, and then papaya, plenty of papaya and sesbania, and then so much of fodder for the animals from this farm, and then perennial pigeon pea, the tuber has come from this farm. Like without doing anything, so it's given so much. So like that, there are many examples of the permaculture. This row, around 30 honeybees, honeycombs are there. So every year, and we don't harvest the honey, we conserve the honeybees, because so they'll, when the food, where the food is available, when they feel safe, they will come here. This is the one of the indicator for the best environment. So like that, if you see entire this farm, around 60 honeycombs are there, out of which around 10 are the small honeycombs, around 50 is the wild rock honeybees. So these rock honeybees, like you can see, they are very clever. Other side they are getting all the flowers, and then trees are giving so much of flowers. Moringa flowers are there, Mexican sunflower they are there, vegetables are there, mango flower is there, neem flower is there, Buchrania langiara flower is there. Like so many flowers are there, that's why they came here. So the environment, if the suitable environment, if it is available, they will come and start forming the beehives. So like that we don't harvest the honeys, we are conserving the honeybees. So that is the one of the best indicator of the honeybees. So with our chicken coop, I think every day we get around 10 to 15 eggs. Like eggs, we are self-sufficiency about the chickens for consumption, eggs for consumption, and then like it's automatically, we don't need to hatch them also. They will do on their own hatching also, they by their own. So we don't need to keep them for 21 days. So they will hatch somewhere, they'll keep their eggs, they lay the eggs, and then they will sit on them, and they find a space, because this is like very protective place from entire place. So they are free, happy chickens, free grazing will be there.